YouTube, Heir of Carthage here. I'm coming to you from the Hokuriku Crossing with some sweet Shogun 2 online action. I say that, this is certainly not like some kind of tournament match, but it was a fun match with my opponent, and I'm going to talk to you about why I played the way I did here. No, it doesn't represent tournament-winning play, but it is just some tips that hopefully I can give you all that'll help you be a better Total War online player. So enjoy. Alright, here comes my army, cresting over the hill and headed towards the crossing is my cavalry. It's going to be followed up by my infantry, which is now coming on across. So let me talk about what my idea was for this battle, and then I'll show you my troops. Basically, I've got several cav running on a rush element. I believe I have 3 Yari cav and 1 Naginata monk cav. I have, I believe, 3 Naginata warrior monks, 1 sword unit, which I believe is a katana samurai, and then I have my long Yari, and then of course Patchy's bodyguard, which is right here. But it looks like I do not see Patchy. If that's supposed to be him, then they've got it all wrong. Anyway, that's my army. There are no missile elements. I've got some Nagi attendants, of course, running as meat shield. So my idea was to rush the crossing and try and get my opponent off guard and force an engagement that he doesn't want. Let's see how that went. Alright, here's my opponent's army. And you can see here that he's got 2 matchlock units leading up the front. I believe they're both matchlock samurai. He's got, I think, 2 Yari Ashigaru, 2 Yari Samurai, I think 2 Naginata Samurai, and 2 Katana Samurai. And then I want to say he's got, all of his units were had very few chevrons, and this was a medium funds battle. My opponent wasn't leveled up all the way. You can see his avatar's leader with some melee. Let's see, so I think it's Nagi Monk Cav, 3 Nagi Monk Cav, and 1 Yari Cav. So that is my opponent's army. Oh, he's also got this Bow Ashigaru. So he does have some skirmishing element, and he's got a numbers thing going on here with his melee. Okay, this is the Hokuriku Crossing map from above. Let's zoom out a little further. I am going to zoom in. You can see the 2 dojos there, and then the river that runs through, and the bridge. So obviously this map could be forced crossings, but I'm going to go ahead and rush and make the crossing myself. The army I've built is a rush army. I do have 1 matchlock unit as a potential skirmishing component if I have to, but really my idea is to rush, so I've spent minimal funds on skirmishing. I brought some good solid Yari cav. I've got 3 of them. One is a level 3, and I got a level 4, another level 4, and then I brought a level 2 monk cav, which is just pretty good and cost efficient. I am playing Renyo's teachings, so that's why you're going to see some of my units that have weird attack numbers. My opponent came too close with his cav here. His Nagi Warrior Monk Cav is not going to be doing real well because they don't have the attack upgrade. So level 1 Monk Cav is actually pretty effective in a sustained melee versus other Cav, but otherwise Yari Cav won't have any problem mopping them up, especially mine that have some upgrades. So my opponent picked this Cav fight and shouldn't have. He should have backed up with his units, but to be honest, whether he backed up or whether he picked this fight, it's going to work to my favor. You'll notice that I peeled my monk cav out of the main engagement and made a charge onto some of his missile units, and I've already killed some of them, while my opponent continues to have to try and commit troops to this cav fight that I've started, which means that all of his troops are rushing right into my well-prepared melee troops. Here I'm going to run another attack with my monk cav. He's got some spears there, so I am going to pull out of that, but I'm trying to keep his missile units pinned down. You can see I've got his matchlocks kind of back behind this building and unable to participate. And then look, my opponent has blobbed 2 Yari Ashigaru and some warrior monks up into the front of my army where I'm going to have superior melee strength. His cav's now gone, and I'm trying to micro some different orders around. I had some Waka Raiders hidden in the woods. I'm going to use these guys now to keep my opponent from being able to flank. So now I've cut off his main force with these Waka Raiders. So my opponent's in trouble here because he doesn't have any units that are really capable of beating these guys. My Waka Raiders are going to have an easy time with these spear infantry. And my monk cav is harassing the enemy matchlock units, and it landed a hammer and anvil blow there on his katana samurai, which is going to help my warrior monks turn that fight. And then as soon as he got done, I'm going to turn back around and start chasing his matchlocks. So my opponent spent money on missile units. I did not. So I have to make sure that the money he spent on those missile units isn't well used. And I have to make sure that my rush money is spent the way that it should be, which it has been. My orders weren't perfect and stuff like that, but you can see that the general idea was of my rush army. I need a way to catch my opponent off guard, I need a way to get him out of formation, and I need a way for my plan to succeed. Rushing with monks is kind of a interesting proposition. It's good because they can't get charged from the front by cavalry. It's bad because chances are your war cry is not ready to go, and the battle may not last long enough for you to be able to use it when you need it. So it's a risky proposition, and part of the reason monks are expensive is because they do have war cry. So it's something to keep in mind. Rushing with swords, however, puts you at a huge risk to being charged by cavalry and having your rush easily flattened. Yes, you can run with meat shield elements, and you probably should when you're going to rush. In this case, I decided that my cavalry would help disperse enemy skirmishing units and open a path for me to complete the rush, which is what's happened here. So my opponent's troops are beaten, and I was able to win this. To be honest, my gameplays on Shogun 2 recently have been terrible. I can't hardly play. Some of you probably met me online, and a lot of people meet me online and like, oh great, I'm about to get killed. Oh, it's completely the opposite. Right now I am easy pickings because I'm so out of touch with this game. But what I was doing in a lot of those other games is, number one, sometimes I just bring a fun army, like an army that I just wanted to. There's no particular reason behind it. And at that point, it's no wonder you lose. Your army needs to have a focus, kind of like my army had a focus here. Does that mean that my army was great? No. But the army had a focus. Whereas, and you need to bring an army that's focused on things that play to your strengths. I have found myself a lot of times trying to use modular armies in recent times, and it just doesn't work for me. I cannot micromanage the modular armies properly, and I end up getting killed because I just can't skirmish. And so I find myself time and time again coming back to my rush strategies because it's really just the thing that gives me the best chance possible. That's always risky though, because some maps are good for that and some maps aren't. But it seems like you can always adapt some kind of strategy to help play to your strengths. So I've lost lots and lots of battles recently, and part of it is just due to me having fun, and part of it is also due to me trying to play a way that doesn't suit my game style. Find what your game style is and play it well. There's a lot of players out there right now who do heavy skirmishing builds, and they're very good at it. You know, bringing some matchlocks, running a modular with some spears, plenty of cav, they can play that. And it is tough to beat in the hands of a good player. It really is. But think about it. If you're already playing someone who's good and someone who's chosen a good army, do you think you have a better chance of winning when you're doing what you do best, or whenever you're trying to match what they're doing? Then you're just playing into their hands. And so that's something that I realize. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Keep that in mind. Find what gameplay you're good at and find a way to make that work. Sometimes there may not be a way to make it work. If a good player typically knows what the best army setup is. A good player typically knows what they're best at. There may be no way for you to beat a good player doing what you like, but at least you'll give them the best game possible. And then you can always try and learn new skills by practicing. So in any case, here's the stats there. That was a medium funds, medium unit setting battle, I believe. Medium? Yes, looks like it. So 165 kills was substantial indeed for this Naginata Warrior Monk Cavalry. These guys are very good at getting a lot of kills against soft targets and on rear charges. Very, very good at it. These are level 2. Level 1 is actually probably more cost effective. Just put an attack upgrade and you're good to go. Look at my Pirates of the Caribbean here. Apaches of the Caribbean. Only 9 lost and 96 kills. These units will shred most spear units. Most. Obviously not a long Yari Eshigaru. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Good game to my opponent. Obviously he made some mistakes there that made it possible for me to win this. And again, I'm not trying to claim that I'm some amazing player. This is here for me to help you all become better Total War players in general. And by all means, feel free to comment on any of my videos telling me what I could have done better, telling me what you like to do or what works for you. And I have another video coming up next. Keep your eye out for it. I'm actually got an idea here for kind of creating more of a community forum in which maybe you can submit replays to me, and I will help give you advice and get you advice from the community in general about how you could have played better or what they think of your battle. That's coming up soon.